Up in today's news, the gun debate in Eugene heats up and Oregon unemployment drops to a record low. Plus, Oregon State unveils a cell phone app that might help save declining bee populations. All this and more coming up on Oregon News. Good afternoon and welcome to Oregon News. I'm Danielle Arman.
And I'm TJ Brassel.
Musical icon and pop star legend Prince died yesterday in his Paisley Park home. He was 57 years old. The 7-time Grammy Award winner was said to have been ill and previously canceled 2 shows over concerns about his health. Medical examiners will perform an autopsy today, and results may be available as soon as this afternoon. Gun control has been a national topic for the past few years. It has also become a hot-button issue in Eugene. Arabelle Adler reports.
Gun control is back in the Eugene spotlight after multiple incidents involving firearms in the past month. A gun pulled at Taylor's Barn Grill 3 weeks ago and a fatal shooting at Emerald Park just last week has sparked more conversations on the topic, with people wondering how to prevent such events. The topic echoes the national debate on gun control. Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton says with 33,000 Americans killed by guns each year, it's time to figure out a way to keep guns away from terrorists, domestic abusers, and other violent criminals. Others believe it is not about the guns at all. Marvin Lloyd, the owner of the S&M gun shop, says it's about the people who use the weapons.
Here is the problem. I think it's all mental. I really do. I think it's all people. And it doesn't matter what kind of a law we would have against an inanimate object, whether it's an automobile, a claw hammer, a gun, or a knife, or whatever.
While some feel it may be too easy to buy a gun, Loy also said that those who can't purchase one can still find a way to get one. Those in favor of gun legislation have a different view of the situation. County Commissioner candidate Tony McCown says that the legislation is crucial.
I think the evidence shows that good gun legislation reduces gun violence, reduces the homicide rate, reduces trafficking of illegal weapons.
The Lane County Sheriff's Office says there does seem to be an increase in people purchasing firearms lately, but adds that rate typically fluctuates. And Sheriff's Lieutenant Chris Doyle stresses the Sheriff's Office will continue to enforce the laws as they are.
We respect people's rights and we respect the laws, and whether it's their right to open carry or whether it's their right to obtain a concealed weapons permit, it's our job to respect those and then just enforce laws that are in place.
For Oregon News, I'm Arabelle Adler.
Turning to economic news, Oregonians who are looking for work are finding it. The state unemployment rate has hit a record low. Spencer Herbis tells us what has contributed to the expanding job market.
The unemployment rate in Oregon is the lowest it's been in the past 40 years, a shocking 4.5%. For the last few years, Oregon economists have seen job growth comparable to the expansion during the strong economic period of the 1990s. Brian Rooney is Lane County's labor economist. He says this job growth has been expected in the wake of the Great Recession.
It's not surprising that we're getting very low unemployment rates, both in Lane County and statewide.
Some of the main industries that have seen the strongest job growth are construction, manufacturing, wholesale trade, professional and business services, and private education services. But the healthcare industry has added the most jobs. Rooney says that with the population aging, there is a higher demand for health services. Overall, economists say job growth is occurring in all sectors of the economy, and one of the main reasons for that is the retirement of baby boomers.
The main reason for the drop in the unemployment rate is that we're seeing strong employment growth for the past couple of years, and the labor market's starting to tighten up because of it. A secondary factor is that we have retirements, and when somebody retires, they need to be replaced, and that helps lower the unemployment rate.
In addition, the minimum wage in Portland has increased to $15 per hour. Governor Kate Brown hopes to increase the minimum wage statewide by 2022, but economists have yet to predict what effect that will have on Oregon's economy. For Oregon News, I'm Spencer Herbis.
For many people, finding a job means not just a paycheck, but also access to health insurance. But there are still a lot of people who don't qualify for even the safety net provided by the Affordable Care Act. The Volunteers in Medicine Clinic in Springfield is doing what it can to serve the underserved population in the area. Zach Bigley tells us more about how the clinic is affecting its community.
A medical clinic's job is to serve, and it can come at a large price for patients. Well, for Volunteers in Medicine Clinic located in Springfield, the serving happens without that cost. Almost entirely based off volunteers' contributions, it tries to serve the community to the best of its ability. Executive Director Delisa Mission Tubby is realistic about the reaches of the clinic.
You know, I wish we could open the doors and say everybody's welcome here, but we know we can't do that. But in the meantime, we have to stay focused on our mission, and our mission is to serve the underserved here in Lane County.
Serving those patients is not easy financially for the clinic. It relies on donations, grants, and special events for funding. Mission Tubby says the clinic just tries to give back to the community that supports it.
Lane County has such a giving community. They really want to take care of their own. And so that's what we want to do, is strive to make sure we're doing the best that we possibly can to let them know that we are working hard to take care of their community.
Mission Tubby says the results are rewarding. She tells the story of one woman who did not receive care because she thought she was ineligible, but she got the care right in time.
Turns out she had bilateral breast cancer. And so she was able to get her treatment, able to facilitate her getting OHP for what she needed. And those are the success stories you like to see, because you see the tangible.
It is those stories that keep the clinic running for Mission Tubby. Zach Bigley, Oregon News.
The University of Oregon's Safety and Risk Department has some good news on the health front. There have been no new cases of meningitis B reported since May of 2015. This news comes over 1 year after the initial campus outbreak, where 7 people, including 6 students, were infected. Director of Campus Relations Julie Brown says if there are no new cases by the end of this May, the outbreak status as deemed by the Centers for Disease Control will end.
A higher rate of vaccination than some of our older students, because we made it very easy for them to be vaccinated at introductions and the orientations before they even got to campus. So some of those elements that we have learned as we've gone through this vaccination campaign have been really important for us.
Brown and the UO Health Center will continue their efforts to educate students about meningitis B and about vaccinations.
Coming up on Oregon News, the UO finds a new way to expedite the time it takes to make a new lawyer.
Plus, we'll take a look at how much students have to pay for their graduation ceremony. These stories and more when we return.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Oregon's high schools have about 8 months to negotiate with Native American tribes if they want to keep their mascots that invoke their culture in 2012. The Oregon Board of Education banned high schools from using Native American mascots and told the schools to make the change by 2017. The mascots' names included Indians, warriors, braves, and chieftains. But in January of this year, the board said schools can keep their Native American mascots if they negotiate an agreement with one of Oregon's 9 tribes by the end of 2017. Roseburg High School is one of several schools around the state taking advantage of the relaxed rule, trying to keep its name as the Indians. The school is currently in negotiations with the Cow Creek Indian Tribe in Douglas County, but the school is confident it will reach an agreement with the tribe and has already announced it's sticking with the Indians moniker. The school dropped all Native American caricatures in the 90s. Its logo is currently an orange feather. Recent agreements between other Oregon schools and tribes have included the stipulation that schools will offer a new curriculum on Native American culture to students. It's spring, and the University of Oregon, that means high school students are flooding the campus to decide if they want to apply for admission. UO students play a major role in the University of Oregon's recruitment program, taking hopeful applicants and their families on campus tours. The program is a group of selected UO students who serve as the university's primary recruitment team. Ambassadors can be found walking around campus, leading groups of prospective UO students and their families. The tour begins at the Ford Alumni Center and continues along 13th Street. During the 2014-2015 school year, nearly 40,000 people signed up for a campus tour, and interest in the university has certainly increased. 10 years ago, an average of just under 10,000 prospective students and families visited the campus. Cora Bennett is the director of the Student Orientation Program. She says the U of O was one of the leading schools that started emphasizing recruitment of non-resident students, which, she says, is an important factor in gaining interest.
University of Oregon students who want to be lawyers may soon be able to take a year off the amount of time it takes to get their education. Thanks to the new 3+3 program, it could take only 6 years instead of 7. The UO School of Law, in partnership with the Clark's Honors College, has unveiled a new program that will allow students to graduate with both their undergraduate and their law degree in just 6 years. Students in the program will spend 3 years completing their major requirements at the honors level. During their junior year, they'll apply to the UO School of Law. If accepted, students will spend their 4th year dual enrolled in both senior undergraduate classes and first-year law courses. Students enrolled will save a year's worth of tuition and living expenses. The program will also cover the cost of the application to the School of Law. Clark's Honors College Dean, Terry Hunt, says the program will give students the room to explore diverse interests rather than having to be laser-focused in aligning their coursework and extracurriculars for a competitive law school application. The program will be effective starting this fall. College is expensive. At the University of Oregon, it runs an in-state student an average of about $40,000 in tuition and another $20,000 in books and room and board. On top of all that, there's a cost of graduating. Audrey Roberts reports.
The least expensive UO graduation package costs $80. It includes a cap, gown, tassel, 1-year Alumni Association membership, a diploma cover, and a commencement fee. But not everyone can afford $80 on top of school and living costs. And depending on what a graduate wants, the cost can go up. Frames and accessories add to the expense. And it's even more money for graduate students. Senior Greg Hankhouse says he thinks the packages are way too expensive for what they are. He didn't think that students had any options. But it turns out they do. Most students just don't know it. Duck Store graduation assistant Melissa Roush says students seem to understand they're going to have to pay something.
They seem to know, and when they do ask, it's because of the cost that we have to fork out to the vendor.
Master's or PhD students can rent their gown through the Duck Store. Undergraduates don't have that option. They can't rent through the university. But that doesn't mean there aren't ways to lower their costs. For no money, a student may borrow someone else's old gown if it's about the same style and color of everyone else's. For undergraduates, that color is hunter green.
If it's very, very similar to the bachelor's gowns, then I don't see why not.
Or they can spend $46 to buy a gown a la carte at the Duck Store from the graduation supply company, Jostens. That means you can mix and match items if you have pieces already. But buying a la carte instead of purchasing a package doesn't always save money, because some perks are given free, only in a package.
Trying to avoid the 1-year alumni membership, it's still the same price. So, I mean, if you're paying the same price, you might as well get something for free.
Now to the fees. The commencement fee covers 2 expenses and it's mandatory. $15.50 pays for a chair rental and for a diploma cover handed to each student at commencement. Roush says students can order their gear online or in the Duck Store. One other way to save money? Order early. Package prices will increase by $10 next month. Financial aid will not provide additional funds to a student if they can't afford the cost associated with graduation. However, a student may use their aid to help pay for the costs if they choose to do so. For Oregon News, I'm Audrey Roberts.
One other note, Roush confirms that the gowns are biodegradable. She says if they're left in a landfill for a year, nothing will be left but a zipper.
Sports is coming up. We'll take a look at how the Ducks fared against UCLA on the Diamond last night, and look ahead to number 6 Oregon softball's challenging series at Arizona State. Plus, we'll see if it's sunshine or rain for the weekend ahead. We'll be back in a moment.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Let's take a look at what's happening in Oregon sports. I'm Chris Clayton. Oregon baseball didn't start its series down in Los Angeles at UCLA the way they wanted to. They dropped game 1 6-3 last night. And after a hot offensive showing last weekend, the Ducks were limited to just 3 runs, 2 of which came off the bat of Phil Craig St. Louis on this home run in the 5th. It was Craig St. Louis' 3rd jack of the season. But overall, Oregon's bats were stifled by UCLA's Griffin Canning. He struck out 6 in 6 2/3 innings. The Ducks also got a poor start on the mound from sophomore Matt Crook. He was plagued by control issues all night. He walked 5 through just 1 2/3 innings and gave up 4 UCLA runs. Game 2 is set for tomorrow at 7 as Oregon sends junior Cole Irvin to the mound, looking to tie the series. Number 6 Oregon softball is in the desert this weekend after its longest break of the season so far, more than a week off for its series with the 25th ranked Arizona State Sun Devils. The Ducks come into this series on a 5-game winning streak after sweeping Oregon State 2 weekends ago. But ASU's season is going a different direction. The Sun Devils have lost 6 straight, struggling with pitching, giving up over 7 runs per game during the cold stretch. But even after sweeping ASU last season in Eugene, Oregon head coach Mike White says Oregon still isn't taking the series for granted.
Obviously, they're on a bit of a losing streak, and that can be difficult for them. But we're not going to take them lightly. They were ranked in the top 25 for a number of weeks, so they can play some really good softball.
The Sun Devils will try to snap their skid as Oregon looks to keep its hot streak going tonight at 7 p.m. in Tempe. Games 2 and 3 are Saturday at 7 and Sunday at 1. Playing a diamond sport in Eugene at any level means dealing with the rain, so players and teams need a place to hit indoors. But there's only one indoor hitting facility in the area. That's Coaches Athletic. Coaches Athletic provides spaces for hitting drills as well as pitching. Eric Leba, a former Oregon softball pitching coach and now owner of Coaches Athletic, said he saw the need right away in the Eugene area.
Years ago when I first moved here in '97, there was Grand Slam, I guess, had a facility in the Springfield area. And at the time, I wasn't really thinking much about having an indoor facility. Then after, kind of much thought when I started getting involved in high school and started getting involved more in the community as far as youth sports goes, I kind of started seeing that, while there was one, but, it was clear on the other side of town.
Now, Grand Slam is closed in Springfield, and Coaches Athletic plays host to everyone who wants to hit indoors. Leba says that he loves seeing the improvement in the kids he sees come and go through his facility over the years.
It's nice to see kids develop, and it's nice to see kids that, still come in even after they're done playing, or in some cases with like some of the younger kids, going from t-ball now to machine pitch, now to seeing their dads come in here and actually throw to them is pretty neat.
The facility has played host to the Oregon club baseball team and the Oregon softball team before its new complex was built this year. Oregon acrobatics and tumbling came up just a few points short of a national championship Tuesday in Waco, Texas, following to Baylor in the NCAA finals. It was Oregon's 6th straight appearance in the finals and would have been its 5th national title in school history. For Baylor, the NCAA title was its 2nd straight after not winning any prior to the last 2. The Bears are coached by former Oregon head coach Felicia Mulkey, who led the Ducks to 4 straight national titles in 5 seasons as head coach of Oregon from 2010 to 2014. And Arabelle, there are no sporting events in Eugene this weekend, but I guess that could be a good thing.
Well, Chris, the sunshine we enjoyed this week is not what will be in store for this weekend. Staying inside and watching movies may be the best chance to avoid getting rained on. Starting in Eugene, we'll be expecting rain and thunderstorms throughout Friday and continued showers throughout the weekend. Temperatures are expected to hover in the high 50s, but we will see some clear skies and sunshine coming our way on Monday. If you're heading up to Portland, you can expect to see more of the same temperatures will remain in the high 50s and low 60s with showers all weekend, so make sure you grab your rain jacket and umbrella if you venture outside. At the Oregon coast, showers have come ashore this morning and will stay throughout the weekend. You should expect lows in the 40s and highs in the mid-50s. Winds will be roughly 10 miles per hour throughout the weekend, so staying inside and dusting off an old board game could make for a fun night. If you're heading east to Bend for the weekend, you could encounter lows ranging from the high 20s to the mid-30s. There will be a high of 57 on Friday, along with some thunder and a high of 59 on Saturday. So be sure to bundle up and stay warm for those cold nights. Even though this weekend will be bringing rain, it will also be bringing snow to Mount Bachelor. And good news for skiers is Bachelor is still open for the season. Snowfall will begin with about ½ inch on Friday and make its way up to 4 inches on Sunday. Daytime temperatures will remain in the 40s and lows in the 20s and 30s. Pack up your skis and head to Bachelor because they will be closing their doors for the season on May 29th, so don't miss your chance. Have a fun weekend and take advantage of the rainy days to find something fun to do inside. That's all for weather. Back to the desk.
Want to make a video game? Coming up on Oregon News, we look at a group of people who created multiple in just 2 days. Also, there's a buzz about a new app designed to save bees.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
While some people in Eugene might have spent last weekend enjoying the sun, others stayed indoors to take part in an international video game competition. Craig Garcia has more.
The goal? Make a video game. That means producing art, code, sound effects, level design, and a story from scratch. The game can be about anything as long as it pertains to the voted on theme, shape-shifting. Oh, and one other thing. You only have 48 hours to make the game. Welcome to the 35th Ludum Dare, an international video game development competition that for more than 10 years has turned video game enthusiasts into video game developers. The event is better known as a game jam, and from April 15th to 17th, teams work together in the Fertile Lab in downtown Eugene to turn their concepts into virtual reality. To be a part of the game jam, you don't need to know how to create every aspect of a video game. You just need to be willing to contribute in any way you can. Organizer of the Eugene Game Jam and artist Britt Thomas Brady said he's been a part of almost 20 game jams within the last 2 years. 8 months into making video games, he was able to make a living from it. And he partly contributes that to the game jams, which helped him learn game development quickly and also gave him a platform to promote his work.
It's a good proof of concept, and a lot of games have been picked up by publishers that have won and then gone on to be released. And me and Cullen actually released a game a while back, which I originally prototyped in one of these jams.
Brady and his teammate Cullen Dwyer worked on an ambitious 3D game for the 35th Ludum Dare. The game is about a magical girl who could shapeshift into a bow and arrow and a shield. Other games from the game jam varied in regards to style and gameplay. Jalan Ember and Tegan Balos' game was a Tetris-inspired game, but with a twist.
I'm working on a game with my friend Tegan called Fill That Hole. Basically, there's a car that's driving along and a big hole in the road, and then you have people that are posed like Tetris blocks in different ways. And then you basically drop them like Tetris and you're trying to fill the hole so it's a flat road.
Those games, as well as others, required the teams to put in long hours to make sure their game was up to their standards. It's night 2 of the game jam, and I'm currently outside of the Fertile Lab, and I'm looking at my watch right now, and it's about 1:15 in the morning. There's still about 10 to 12 people inside working on their video games. I was talking to some of them a few minutes ago, and they were telling me that looks like they're going to be staying up the entire night to work on their video games just to make sure they stay on schedule for the 6 p.m. deadline tomorrow evening. But as the 11th hour inched closer, some teams were putting the final touches on their games while others were making a mad dash towards the finish. But by 6 o'clock on Sunday, the games were submitted for competition and shown to the group. Results on which of the thousands of submitted games won which categories won't be known for another 2 weeks. But in the meantime, the teams that spent 48 hours making a game can get some well-deserved rest. For Oregon News, I'm Craig Garcia.
If you're interested in playing any of the games from the Eugene Game Jam, you can visit the Lodum Darde Facebook page and download them for free.
Researchers at Oregon State just made protecting bees from pesticides easier with the creation of a smartphone app. Jonathan Stile has more on what this means for the agriculture industry.
Bees are some of the most important workers in the field of agriculture. In the state of Oregon alone, they are responsible for the pollination of about 50 different crops. Growers contract with beekeepers to bring in the tiny seasonal workers, and it's a big business. Statewide, there are about 70,000 commercial beehives, but keeping the bees healthy has become a challenge in recent years as bee colonies have died off. Researchers think the die-off is due to certain harmful pesticides, but now a new social app may come to the rescue of the fuzzy flying farmers. In 2006, the first version of How to Reduce Bee Poisoning was published on paper. Fast forward to 2016 and the publication is now available on your cell phone or whatever digital program you might have handy. Louisa Hooven is a co-author of the publication, and she says the app will make it easier for beekeepers and farmers to talk to one another.
The really important variable is how those people communicate together. Like, I'm going to bring my bees because you asked me to pollinate your crop, and then the grower can say, there's this pest, can you wait a few days because I need to spray this product. So that kind of communication.
The way that beekeepers use the app is by researching whatever pesticides the grower is using to determine if it contains chemicals that are toxic for bees. This is crucial information if bees are going to be around in the long run, because without them, human beings would be in big trouble.
A lot of the vitamins that we need are found in the things that are pollinated by bees. So if it were really a complete, bee apocalypse, then we would really be in trouble from a nutrition standpoint.
Reporting for Oregon News, I'm Jonathan Stile.
Thanks, Jonathan. The app is available through the OSU Extension Service.
Sometimes our canine friends also need to be rescued, first from people who shouldn't have pets, and later from shelters that don't have room for them and plan to put them down. The solution for many of these dogs is a rescue operation here in Eugene. With 55 acres of land, Lovable Dog Rescue is a haven for dogs everywhere. Meet their adorable ambassador, Pika.
Pika is a French bulldog. This vibrant and cheerful pup was found in a hole when police raided a chop shop in Los Angeles. She had no hair, her eyes, ears, and skin were infected, and she could not walk. Pika didn't have an optimistic life expectancy, but before she could be put down, rescuers shipped her to Eugene. Here, she found a home at Lovable and was adopted by the director of the rescue. Her loving characteristics have made her an ambassador for the operation. Ashley Olson, the manager of the rescue, says Pika's attitude and story make her so admirable.
She's got such unique character and personality. She's so tolerant of everything, and she's always down for whatever she's doing. So she's been a really great ambassador for the rescue and to be able to show what a terrible situation these dogs can come from.
Pika, along with her brother Wombat, ham it up on Instagram, showing just how awesome rescue dogs can be.
Luckily, Pika found her forever home, but there's dogs like Ren here who are still up for adoption.
Lovable has many dogs up for adoption. All of these dogs have been rescued from high-kill shelters in California. If you're interested in adopting, visit lovabledogrescue.org.
Thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week.
Have a great weekend.
Good job.